Next up is an AFC West team that did make the playoffs. That is the Los Angeles Chargers. And Dalton, with a new head coach in Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert looked like a top 5-ish quarterback in the NFL.
He sure did. I would have him in my top 6, and I really don't get the criticism of Justin Herbert. I know he wasn't good in the playoff game against Houston, but look what we were just talking about with Houston's pass defense, right? But you're talking about a guy sets a career high in yards per attempt, career high in passing grade, career high in big-time throw rate, third best adjusted completion rate of his career. He was, after the first few weeks of getting used to Greg Roman's system, he was just spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so good, and they really didn't run the ball all that efficiently like they wanted to. They're going to try to do that this year, but Justin Herbert looked, I thought, better than ever last year, and it wasn't the numbers, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks. Maybe that doesn't pop out like some other guys in the league, but it's kind of the idea. It's efficiency. It's taking big vertical shots in this offense where you can hit more home runs because he's got unlimited arm strength, maybe the strongest arm in football. Justin Herbert's ability to get vertical, I think Jim Harbaugh sees that as special. He's seen that from the beginning. Once they started doing that last year, they had a lot of success offensively. Justin Herbert's the first reason this team should be successful on the field.
He had 4 picks in the wildcard game against the Texans, right? I think that's kind of leaving a sour
You're right.
taste.
My bad. He had 7 total, including postseason. He only had 3 interceptions in the regular season.
Yeah.
And guys with an arm that big that are usually near the top of average depth of target and all of that, they don't usually go a whole regular season only throwing 3 interceptions.
I think that final game was a sour taste in people's mouths. He still had the 3rd best passing grade in the NFL, by far the 3rd best passing grade in the NFL last year, only behind Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Those are the only 3 who even had an 87 passing grade. He had a 90.2 passing grade.
To me, the criticism of him in big spots, and I get it, he was bad against Houston. I could argue Houston was probably the worst matchup they could have gotten,
yes.
Right? He's played in 2 playoff games. And I know people blame him for blowing a 27-0 lead like he plays corner or something. I don't get that. I don't understand the constant criticism.
They also got so conservative in that game, too, as Jacksonville. Way too conservative.
They let off the gas.
They rested on their laurels.
They let off the
game.
gas,
yeah.
and that's a coaching thing, right?
Yeah.
That's why we have Jim Harbaugh now, right? But I think you just look at this team and you forget because of the playoff performance, and it wasn't good. We all know that. It's obvious it wasn't good. But they were ahead of the curve, too.
Yes.
They were not supposed to even make the postseason last year. And because you have a quarterback like that and a coaching staff like this now, you have a chance every year. And honestly, they take another step from where they were last year, yeah, they could win this division. Why not?
They could take a step because they have a lot of intriguing young weapons now on that offense, too. Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris, both of them should start as rookies next year. Omarion Hampton, first-round pick at running back, 90-plus rushing grades in each of the last 2 years. If it wasn't for Ashton Jitty, Hampton would have been pretty easily the top running back in the NFL draft. He would have been easily the top running back in the last few NFL drafts probably too. Trey Harris, 91.9 receiving grade since 2023, over 5 yards per route run last year, would have been the PFF record in 2024. Yes, he did miss a few games with injuries, but over 5.1 yards per route run. That would have set the record for PFF too. And obviously, Ladd McConkey was fantastic as a rookie last year too. 12th in the NFL with an 85 receiving grade. You also added my guy, Oronde Gadsden from Syracuse at tight end. He was the 3rd most valuable tight end in college football last year, only behind Tyler Warren and Harold Fenton Jr. Could kind of be like that big slot receiver in that Chargers offense. It's kind of like a hybrid between a tight end and a wide receiver. Between Ladd McConkey, who's a rising star at wide receiver, a first-round running back in Omarion Hampton, a really enticing receiver too, and Trey Harris coming in, and Oronde Gadsden coming in too, and you're hoping Quentin Johnston, as a former first-round pick, can have a kind of a year 3 or 4 breakout too. This Chargers young weaponry is really, really good.
The idea behind all those receiver names you just mentioned, including Gadsden, is trying to get vertical. We're trying to get guys that fit in with that arm strength, with that vertical passing ability of Justin Herbert, his ability to throw the ball accurately deep down the field. That's the theme. Trey Harris can get deep. Oronde Gadsden can get down the seams. Keandre Lambert-Smith can get deep, right? All of these. Quentin Johnston, we know, has size and speed, right? And even Ladd McConkey, honestly, I know a lot of people are going to think about he's the slot guy, the route runner, and he's really, really darn good, but he can get vertical too. Don't lose him deep either. He's got 4.3 speed as well. So you're talking about a bunch of guys that fit in with Justin Herbert's arms and his strengths as a player.
Yeah, Trey Harris. There's drawbacks to Trey Harris's game, but in that kind of offense in Los Angeles, that's actually a perfect fit for Trey Harris in his rookie year. Don, the final reason why they can win the division in 2025.
I think the best part about this defense last year was their ability to prevent explosive plays, and I think that starts with the fundamentally sound play in the secondary under their defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter. I think it starts to me with the safety pair that I think are very underrated, one of the best safety pairs in football of Derwin James and Alohi Gilman. Then you have 2 fifth-round corners from last season emerging as legitimate starters, both in Cam Hart and Tarheeb Still, right? They signed Dante Jackson. They kept Elijah Molden. I really like R.J. Mickens, the 6th-round pick behind the starting safeties. He can get special teams experience and backup experience back there. But I think it's a really, really talented secondary. And the way that Jesse Minter calls this defense, they just don't give up anything over the top. They make you work for it, and they tackle well. I think this secondary is actually the best part of this defense.